Hey everybody, I'm back to talk about the latest episode of Empire. Now, let's get right into this episode. Now, how did y'all feel about Cookie and Angelo going on their first date? How do you think it went? Now, I thought it was hilarious and touching all at the same time. Um, Even though Cookie's feelings got a little hurt. So they go on this date, and Angelo invites her out, and they're going to see this girl sing. Now, Cookie didn't know the genre of music that she was going to see. So, when she was picking out her clothes and trying to get all cute, and things, she picked out like this beautiful red dress. But once she got to the venue, she realized that, oh my goodness, this was like a formal wear type of a performance because the woman was an opera singer. And so she felt a little out of place anyway, but she pushed through. She's Cookie, and she went on about her business. Now, when Angela was introducing her around, the women were the most envious. You could tell it right off the bat. They were like, what is he doing with this hood rat on his arm? What's going on here? Because she's so different from, I guess, the women that he normally dates. But they just don't know Cookie. But anyway, so what did y'all think the first time Cookie ate them two women's face up? When they were standing there talking and, they were bragging about, oh, we vacationed at such and such Villard and blah, blah, blah. They were just being real bougie. And they asked her where does she vacation, and she told them that a year or two ago she was vacationing in the penitentiary. Okay, so and she just kind of was like, whatever, don't come for me, and she walked off. Right? And I thought it was so cute because Angelo was like, that was so hot, like, oh, girl, you did that. He was impressed by it, and he thought it was cute. So I think that he really does like her. Y'all let me know what you think. Do you think that he likes her because she's so different from what he's used to? Or is she not really that different in essence? He probably likes strong women who are very driven. That's Cookie. Like, yeah, she came from the streets a little bit. She was dipping and dabbling. We saw that in some of the flashbacks of this episode, too. What do y'all think about these flashbacks? I mean, I guess it's good because we're seeing how Lucius and Cookie, got their start, how they met, and how everything kind of went. But at the same time, it's just like, I mean, but you're not telling me anything outside of my imagination. Like, I envisioned them being drawn together by music. I just already assumed that. So just seeing it is just like, well, yeah, I already envisioned that. But Lucius, he been dirty since the beginning. Done beat that little boy up. What's his name? Barry, her little boyfriend she had when she was young, the good boy. Done beat him up. He is so, ugh, honey. Anyway, but that's Lucius, okay? He's been like that since jump. Thank you for letting us know that. So anyway, by the end of the song, Cookie, she's just feeling the song so much because it's about a woman who's torn between two lovers. And so she jumped up and she's like, you better sing, girl, just being Cookie, right? And then she felt a little out of place because she's like, "Ooh, I forgot where I was." People don't just jump up and be like, "Sing, girl." They don't do that in an opera. So when she went to the restroom and she heard them girls out there talking crazy again, she came up out of that stall. She was in full Cookie mode, and she was like, excuse me, you really don't want to come. She put them in their place, okay? And she even, kind of jumped down and, whatever. And she just walked out unbothered. But you could tell it did bother her a little bit because they were saying, oh, he's just a playboy and he's just probably got her just, for some thrills and then he's going to let her go. So she got upset about that and she left without telling him. So later on, he goes and he talks to Jamal. Angelo does, which I thought was so cute. Oh, he went and talked to her son and he confided in him and he said, what can I do to make her understand that I really like her? And Jamal suggested that he get on her level, stop pulling her into his world. And he kind of dressed down, come out of that suit, put on a t-shirt or something and come down into her world. So that was a good idea. And also Jamal confided in him about Frida's situation. Before I jump into Jamal and Frida, let me finish about Angelo and Cookie. So by the end of the episode, they kind of made their amends. They got back together on the same page. He showed up when Tiana was doing a music video and he saw how smart and brilliant Cookie really is because she loved that opera music so much she incorporated that into one of Tiana's songs because something that they wanted Tiana to do was participate in another clapback song between Hakeem and that other, whoever Romeo's character is in the show. So she didn't really want to do that. She was like, look, they're being petty, they're being stupid. I'm about my business. I'm just here trying to make this money and, sing. That's what I want to do. And so Cookie has the bright idea, oh, I have a good collaboration in mind. So she basically combined Tiana's style also with the opera singer's style, and they made a really good song out of that. She did. And so while she was there filming the video for it, and I guess it was streaming live, he showed up and, he was just in her element, in her role. And I think it made her feel good that he actually put forward that much of an effort just to let her know that he really cared about her. So I really like this relationship between the two. Lucius is a hater, and, he had to come threaten him and be like, yeah, she might like you, but she always comes back to me. All this little mess. Whatever, Lucius. You don't know. She may not come back to you because you treat her so dirty all the time. But anyway, what do y'all think about that? Do you think that she's going to choose Angelo's the good guy this time? Or is she going to throw it all away at the end of the season to be with her beloved Lucius? Now let's talk about Jamal. So Jamal is still trying to work out his problems, honey. So he goes and he sees Frida. And this time when he goes to see her, she's all beat up. Like her face was all swollen, her eye was shut, and it was just horrible, right? So she looks crazy. Like she's getting beat up in there. She's having a hard time. So Jamal feels sorry for her. So under the advisement of Angelo, he gets a doctor to say that, she suffers from a little bit of a mental illness, and in her state, she didn't really know what she was doing. She wasn't really aiming at Jamal. She was just having a moment of insanity, blah, blah, blah. He spoke good of her. The papers showed that, she may have a little mental problem, and they was able to get her freed. And so that was a good thing. Now, by the end of the episode, Lucius just was like, oh, you just like your daddy. And he's like, what you mean? He was like, look what you did. You broke some of the rules just to get something that you wanted. Yeah, you vicious, just like a lion. And I didn't like that because it's like he was trying to let Jamal know, you really just like me. You try to, be better than me or put your nose down at my tactics, but look what you did just to get Frida out. You had somebody lie and cheat and, to get her out. So you're just like me. And I think that really set in with Jamal. He really didn't like that. He's still hiding the fact that he's taking those pills and that alcohol together. That ain't no good. Which I think. I think he's going to get addicted to it, and it's going to be hard for him to kick it because he's still very dependent on it. Oh, y'all, how do y'all feel about Nessa and Dre? Now, I didn't see that little connection coming. I just seen Nessa and Hakeem, but ooh, that came out of nowhere. Did y'all see the look on Dre's face when he was watching her sing? Oh, I said, all right, Dre, all right. So anyway, this storyline was kind of crazy. Sean was just playing people all the way across the board. He wanted these labels to get into a bidding war over her. It's like he's using her like a piece of property, kind of just shopping her around and doing whatever. And she's just going along with it or whatever. But her and Dre have this talk, and she decides that she wants to be on the label. Now they have this little intimate moment, and as they're becoming intimate, he kind of draws back because he feels odd about it, because he's still not over Rhonda. And then all of a sudden Rhonda appears in his mind and she helps him do the deed. What did y'all think about that? Did you think it was hot, or did you say, oh, he is really cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, something bad is about to happen here? I was kind of in the middle. It was a little hot, but then I was like, oh, but Dre, whew, honey, you're going to have to change your meds again, okay? You're looking a little unstable. But Lucius is loving it because Dre is on the job and he's getting things done. But y'all, I thought it was so cool that at first Lucius just assigned this whole signing Nessa thing to Dre. But Dre was like, nah, let Hakeem help me. Because he just discarded Hakeem in the beginning. But then he was like, okay, both of y'all work on it then. But what y'all think about Sean busting up in the office trying to fight Dre over going behind his back and getting Nessa to sign that contract? I thought it was it was like a good moment and a bad moment at the same time because I like seeing Lucius being proud of his kids, but he's proud of his kids for the wrong stuff. Like, he's happy that Dre went about it in this gangster type of a way and that he wasn't scared of Sean. Like, when Sean came in there and jumped on him, Dre was like, I'm sorry, Daddy, I'm finna mess your office up. He threw his jacket off. He was ready to square up, and he fought him, and he beat him up. And he basically was like, you gonna sign this contract, you gonna put your name on here, and she's gonna be on our label. So they bullied him into it, When Sean pulled out that gun and Lucius hit him in the legs with that bat, I mean, like I said, it's good to see him working together with his kids, but I mean, it's always over this gutter stuff. Like, he don't never encourage them to do positive things. He's like, I want you to be like me, be crazy like me, and then I'll love you to death. Like, it's just crazy. Do y'all think Becky's gonna leave the label? I think she might. Like, they went outside and hired this whole other person to be head over A&R, and you could just see it in her face that she was disgusted with it. She's like, all the work I do around here, and I just get overlooked. And I mean, she may leave. And I really don't blame her. They're not really paying attention to her worth. They're not seeing her worth. So, I mean, what do you think she's going to do? So, these are basically everything that happened in this episode. If I left anything out, please drop it in the comments below and we'll keep the conversation going. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.